I need to tell you something that most doctors will not bring up at your annual checkup. Unless your liver numbers are dramatically off on a blood test, your doctor is probably not talking to you about your liver. And that silence is costing millions of Americans their health. Because here's what the research actually shows. Your liver performs over 500 separate functions in your body every single day. 500! It filters your blood, it produces bile for digestion, it metabolizes every medication you take, it processes every hormone your body produces, it converts nutrients from your food into forms your cells can actually use, it produces the proteins that allow your blood to clot, it stores vitamins and minerals, it regulates your blood sugar, it breaks down and removes toxins, not just the obvious ones like alcohol, but the pesticides on your vegetables, the chemicals in your cleaning products, the synthetic compounds in your personal care products, the microplastics now found in virtually every American's bloodstream. Every single thing that enters your body eventually reaches your liver, and your liver deals with it, quietly, without complaint, without asking for anything in return, until one day it cannot keep up anymore. And the signs are not dramatic at first. They're subtle enough that most people attribute them to aging or stress or just not sleeping well enough. Fatigue that hits you in the afternoon like a wall. Skin that has lost its clarity, dull, slightly yellowish, prone to breakouts that never fully clear, digestion that feels sluggish, bloating after meals, intolerance to fatty foods, a heaviness that sits in your upper right abdomen after eating, brain fog, that feeling of thinking through cotton wool, the inability to concentrate that has nothing to do with how much sleep you got, hormonal imbalances, because your liver is responsible for breaking down and eliminating excess estrogen and other hormones from your bloodstream. A sluggish liver means hormones accumulate, and accumulated hormones cause mood swings, weight gain around the midsection, sleep disruption, and dozens of other symptoms that get attributed to everything except the liver. And then there's the more serious end of the spectrum. Non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, NAFLD, now affects approximately 1 in 4 Americans. 1 in 4! Most of them have no idea because in its early and middle stages, NAFLD causes no pain, no obvious symptoms, just that gradual accumulation of fatigue, fog, and dysfunction that most people chalk up to getting older. Today, we're going to talk about 4 plants that have been studied more extensively than almost any other natural substances for liver health. Plants with peer-reviewed research behind them showing specific, measurable effects on liver cell regeneration, inflammation reduction, bile production, and toxin clearance. And I'm going to give you the exact 30-day protocol, what to take, how much, when, and in what form for each one. But before we get into the plants, I want to make sure you understand what your liver actually does on a daily basis, because I think most people have a vague sense that the liver is involved in alcohol processing and not much else. And that misunderstanding is part of why so many Americans are walking around with livers that are struggling without ever thinking about supporting them. Your liver sits in the upper right side of your abdomen, protected beneath your ribs. It's the largest internal organ in your body, approximately the size of a football, weighing between 3 and 4 pounds in the average adult. And it has 2 separate blood supplies, which is unique among your organs. Oxygenated blood arrives from your heart through the hepatic artery, but simultaneously, nutrient-rich blood arrives directly from your digestive system through the portal vein. Everything absorbed from your intestines, every nutrient, every toxin, every medication, flows directly to your liver before going anywhere else in your body. Your liver is the gatekeeper. Now, here's the part that's both remarkable and alarming. Your liver has a truly extraordinary capacity for regeneration. If you surgically removed 70% of a healthy liver, it would regenerate to its full size within 8 to 12 weeks. 70% removed, and it grows back. This regenerative capacity is why liver donors can give a portion of their liver to a recipient, and both the donor and recipient end up with fully functional livers within months. No other organ in your body does this. But, and this is critical, that regenerative capacity has limits. Years of accumulated damage from poor diet, excessive alcohol overload, toxic exposure, chronic inflammation eventually overwhelms the liver's ability to regenerate. Scar tissue forms, a process called fibrosis, and scarred tissue cannot regenerate. This is why supporting your liver before it reaches the point of significant damage is so much more effective than trying to reverse damage that has already become severe. The 4 plants we're going to talk about today specifically support the liver's own regenerative process, helping it repair and restore itself while it still has the capacity to do so. The first plant is milk thistle, and if there's one plant on this entire list that has the most dramatic scientific support for liver health, it's milk thistle. Milk thistle, Silybum marianum, is a flowering plant native to the Mediterranean region with distinctive purple flowers and leaves marked with white veins that look almost like spilled milk, which is where its name comes from. It's been used specifically for liver complaints for over 2,000 years. The ancient Roman scholar Pliny the Elder documented its use for liver conditions in the 1st century AD. It was the primary liver medicine of medieval European herbalists, and modern science has studied it more comprehensively than almost any other botanical medicine for any organ in your body. The active compound in milk thistle is called silymarin, a complex of flavonoids found primarily in the seeds of the plant. And silymarin does something that no pharmaceutical drug currently available can do as elegantly. It simultaneously protects existing liver cells from damage while stimulating the regeneration of new liver cells to replace damaged ones. Protection and regeneration at the same time. Here's specifically how. Silymarin acts as a powerful antioxidant. It neutralizes the free radicals and reactive oxygen species that cause liver cell damage. Research has shown it has antioxidant activity approximately 10 times stronger than vitamin E, specifically in liver tissue. Silymarin also stabilizes liver cell membranes, making them more resistant to toxin penetration. It essentially makes each liver cell harder to damage. And then, most remarkably, silymarin stimulates protein synthesis in liver cells. It activates a process that accelerates the production of new liver cells to replace damaged ones, enhancing the liver's natural regenerative capacity. A 2005 meta-analysis published in the American Journal of Gastroenterology, examining over 30 clinical trials, found that silymarin significantly improved liver enzyme levels in patients with various forms of liver disease. Elevated liver enzymes, ALT and AST on a blood test, are markers of liver cell damage and inflammation. When they normalize, it means the liver is healing. Silymarin normalized them. But here's the milk thistle finding that I find most striking. Research has shown that silymarin is effective even in cases of mushroom poisoning, specifically Amanita phalloides, the death cap mushroom, which is one of the most acutely liver-toxic substances known. Intravenous silymarin is used in European hospitals as a treatment for death cap mushroom poisoning. The same compound in your milk thistle supplement in an IV form is used to treat one of the most severe liver toxicity emergencies that exists. That tells you something about the magnitude of its liver protective capacity. How to use it, exactly. For liver healing, milk thistle needs to be standardized to 70 to 80% silymarin content. This is important. Raw milk thistle powder or cheap supplements with no standardization will not deliver therapeutic levels of silymarin. Look for a capsule or liquid extract standardized to 70 to 80% silymarin. Take 200 to 400 milligrams of standardized silymarin once in the morning and once in the evening. Total daily dose, 400 to 800 milligrams of silymarin. Take it with food. Silymarin is fat-soluble, meaning it's absorbed significantly better in the presence of fatty diet. Your morning dose with breakfast, your evening dose with dinner. For the 30-day protocol, consistency is everything. Silymarin is not a one-time supplement. It works cumulatively, building protective and regenerative effects over time. Most people begin noticing improvements in energy levels and digestive comfort within the first 10 to 14 days. Significant liver enzyme improvements, if you have a blood test before and after, typically show within 30 to 60 days of consistent use.
The second plant is dandelion, and I want to spend a moment on this one because dandelion may be the most underestimated plant in America. It is the weed most Americans spray with herbicide every spring. It's the yellow flower their children blow the seeds off and make wishes on. And it is one of the most comprehensive liver support plants ever studied. Dandelion, Pterosacum officinale, has been used as liver and digestive medicine across European, Chinese, and Native American traditions for centuries. And modern research has confirmed several specific mechanisms through which it supports liver function. First, dandelion is one of the most effective natural cholagogues ever identified. Cholagogue is a medical term for something that stimulates bile production and bile flow from the liver. Why does this matter? Bile is produced by your liver and stored in your gallbladder, and it is essential for the digestion and absorption of dietary fats and fat-soluble vitamins A, D, E, and K. When bile flow is sluggish, fat digestion is impaired. The liver becomes burdened with backed up bile. Fat-soluble vitamins cannot be properly absorbed. That upper right abdominal heaviness after fatty meals that so many people experience, that is often a bile flow problem. Dandelion root specifically stimulates the liver to produce more bile and improves bile flow through the bile ducts, directly addressing this mechanism. A 2011 study published in Evidence-Based Complementary and Alternative Medicine found that dandelion extract significantly increased bile production in subjects with sluggish bile flow. Second, dandelion leaves contain extraordinarily high levels of antioxidants, particularly luteolin and zeaxanthin, that have demonstrated protective effects against liver cell oxidative damage. A 2016 study found that dandelion extract significantly reduced liver inflammation markers in animal models of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, one of the most common liver conditions in America. Third, dandelion root has demonstrated in research the ability to reduce liver fat accumulation, one of the primary drivers of NAFLD progression. And fourth, dandelion is one of the most potent natural diuretics ever identified, which supports kidney function and reduces the fluid retention that often accompanies liver stress. How to use it? Exactly. Dandelion works best in two forms used together: root for bile stimulation and detoxification, leaves for antioxidant protection. For the morning liver tea, your foundational daily drink in this protocol, take 1 teaspoon of dried dandelion root, add half a teaspoon of dried dandelion leaf, pour 8 ounces of hot water, 200 degrees, directly over the root and leaf, steep 12 minutes covered. Strain thoroughly, add 1 teaspoon of raw honey and a squeeze of fresh lemon. Drink this every morning on an empty stomach, 30 minutes before breakfast for the full 30 days. If you prefer apsils, dandelion root extract 500 milligrams twice daily with meals. One important note, if you have gallstones or a bile duct obstruction, stimulating bile flow without medical supervision can cause complications. Please consult your doctor before using dandelion if you have either of these conditions.
The third plant is burdock root. Burdock is a plant most Americans have never used intentionally, though many have encountered it outdoors. Its seed pods are the original inspiration for Velcro. The tiny hooks on burdock burrs inspired the Swiss engineer who invented Velcro after pulling them off his dog's coat in 1941. But in Japanese cuisine, where it is called gobo, and in traditional European and Native American medicine, burdock root has been used as a blood purifier and liver tonic for centuries. And the research on it is particularly interesting for the specific challenges most American livers are facing right now. Burdock root, Arctium lapa, contains a compound called inulin, a prebiotic fiber that feeds beneficial gut bacteria. And here is why this matters for liver health specifically. Your liver and your gut are in constant communication through a pathway called the gut-liver axis. Dysbiosis, gut microbiome imbalance, directly increases the permeability of your intestinal wall. When your gut wall becomes permeable, bacterial toxins, called lipopolysaccharides, leak into your portal blood, the blood that flows directly from your gut to your liver. Your liver is then flooded with these bacterial toxins, on top of everything else it is already processing. This is now understood to be one of the primary drivers of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease and liver inflammation in Americans with poor gut microbiome health. Burdock roots, inulin, by feeding beneficial gut bacteria, helps restore gut barrier integrity, reducing the bacterial toxin load that reaches your liver. It is healing your liver by healing your gut first. Burdock also contains a compound called arctiginin that has demonstrated in research, including a 2011 study in the International Journal of Molecular Sciences, direct anti-inflammatory effects on liver tissue, essentially inhibiting the inflammatory pathways that drive liver fibrosis, the scarring that makes liver damage permanent. How to use it? Exactly. Burdock root works best as a decoction, simmered rather than just steeped, because its active compounds are more deeply locked in the woody root tissue. Take 1 tablespoon of dried burdock root pieces, placed in a small saucepan with 12 ounces of cold water. Bring to a gentle boil, then reduce to a simmer. Simmer uncovered for 20 minutes. Strain into a mug. Add your dandelion root and leaf tea, combining both into 1 morning liver tea. Add honey and lemon as before. You now have a combined dandelion and burdock morning liver tea. Alternatively, burdock root is available as a capsule supplement. Take 500 milligrams of burdock root extract twice daily. And here is a practical tip that most people do not know. Fresh burdock root, called gobo, is available in many Asian grocery stores across America. Thinly sliced and added to soups or stir-fries, it delivers the full spectrum of compounds in their most bioavailable form. If you have an Asian grocery store near you, this is worth exploring. The fourth plant is turmeric. Now, we talked about turmeric in our Japanese longevity video in terms of its brain health benefits, but today I want to focus specifically on what it does for the liver, because its liver benefits are distinct and extraordinary. Turmeric, curcuma longa, and specifically its active compound, curcumin, has been the subject of more peer-reviewed research than almost any other natural compound, over 10,000 published studies. And for liver health specifically, the research is compelling. Curcumin has been shown in multiple studies to directly reduce liver inflammation by inhibiting NF-kappa B, a master inflammatory signaling molecule that drives chronic liver inflammation. A 2019 study published in Nutrients found that curcumin supplementation significantly reduced ALT and AST levels, those liver damage markers we talked about, in patients with non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. Curcumin also directly reduces liver fat accumulation. A 2019 randomized controlled trial found that curcumin supplementation for 8 weeks significantly reduced liver fat content in patients with NASLD, as measured by ultrasound, compared to placebo. The liver was actually getting less fatty from a plant. Curcumin also stimulates bile production, supporting the same bile flow mechanism we discussed with dandelion, and it has demonstrated in research the ability to inhibit liver stellate cells, the cells responsible for producing the collagen that forms liver scar tissue, essentially reducing the fibrosis process that makes liver damage permanent. How to use it? Exactly. Here is the most important thing most people do not know about turmeric. Curcumin has extremely poor bioavailability on its own. When you consume turmeric powder, your digestive system absorbs only a tiny fraction of the curcumin it contains. 2 things dramatically increase absorption. Black pepper, specifically its compound piperine, increases curcumin absorption by up to 2,000%. Dietary fat. Curcumin is fat-soluble and absorbs significantly better in the presence of fat. So here is your exact turmeric protocol. Take half a teaspoon of high-quality turmeric powder, or a curcumin supplement standardized to 95% curcuminoids, 500 milligrams. Add a small pinch of black pepper, just a pinch is enough to activate the 2,000% absorption increase. Take it with your largest meal of the day when you're consuming the most dietary fat, or add it to your morning liver tea along with the dandelion and burdock with a pinch of black pepper stirred in. The golden color it gives your tea is the curcumin working. For people who prefer cooking with it, adding turmeric to eggs cooked in olive oil, to soups with coconut milk, or to any dish with added fat with black pepper delivers therapeutic curcumin levels beautifully.
Now let me give you the complete 30-day liver cleansing protocol, because each of these 4 plants targets a different aspect of liver healing, and together they create a comprehensive approach that addresses every major mechanism of liver dysfunction simultaneously. Milk thistle, protecting existing liver cells and stimulating regeneration. Dandelion, stimulating bile flow and providing antioxidant protection. Burdock, healing the gut-liver axis and reducing fibrosis driving inflammation. Turmeric, reducing fat accumulation, inflammation, and fibrosis directly. Your exact morning liver protocol. Step 1. Wake up. On empty stomach, take your milk thistle capsule, 200 to 400 milligrams standardized to 70 to 80% silymarin, with a small glass of warm water. Step 2. Prepare your morning liver tea. Simmer 1 tablespoon of burdock root in 12 ounces of water for 20 minutes.
Add 1 teaspoon dried dandelion root and half a teaspoon dandelion leaf to the hot burdock decoction. Steep 5 more minutes covered. Strain into mug. Add half a teaspoon turmeric powder. Add a small pinch of black pepper. Add juice of half a fresh lemon. Add 1 teaspoon raw honey. Stir well. Drink on your still empty stomach 30 minutes before breakfast. Step 3. With breakfast. Your morning dose of milk thistle has already been taken. No additional supplement needed with breakfast unless your protocol calls for split dosing. Step 4. With dinner. Take your second dose of milk thistle, 200 to 400 milligrams, with your evening meal. If you're taking burdock root capsules instead of decoction, take your second dose here. Total daily time investment, approximately 25 minutes for the morning tea preparation. Total monthly cost, approximately $25 to $35 for all 4 supplements. What to expect week by week. Week 1, days 1 through 7. The most common first experience is improved digestion, particularly a reduction in the upper right abdominal heaviness after fatty meals. This is the dandelion improving bile flow. Food is being digested more efficiently. Some people experience slightly looser stools in the first few days. This is the dandelion's diuretic and bile-stimulating effect normalizing. It settles within 3 to 5 days. Energy levels often begin improving by day 5 to 7 because the liver is beginning to metabolize nutrients more efficiently. Week 2, days 8 through 14. Skin often begins showing improvement in this window. Less dullness, better clarity, reduction in hormonally driven breakouts. This reflects the liver's improving ability to metabolize and eliminate excess hormones from the bloodstream. Brain fog often begins lifting as the liver clears the circulating toxins and metabolic byproducts that contribute to cognitive cloudiness. Week 3, days 15 through 21. For most people, this is when the energy improvement becomes genuinely noticeable. Not just slightly less tired, actually energized. The liver is producing bile more efficiently, nutrients are being absorbed properly, and cells are receiving the fuel they need. Some people report that the afternoon energy crash they had experienced for years has significantly reduced or disappeared. Week 4, days 22 through 30. By day 30, most people who follow this protocol consistently report significantly improved energy throughout the day, clearer skin, better digestion, particularly with fatty meals, reduced bloating, improved mental clarity, and in some cases, a reduction in the midsection weight gain that often accompanies liver stress and hormonal imbalance. If you have a blood test at the beginning and end of your 30 days, you may see improvement in your ALT and AST liver enzyme levels, the objective biological markers of liver health. Not everyone will see dramatic changes. Those with more significant liver stress will see more significant improvements. Those with generally healthy livers will see more subtle but real changes in energy and digestive function. Before we close today, I want to address something directly. The liver is one of the organs most affected by the American diet and lifestyle. Ultra-processed food, excessive sugar, which drives fat accumulation in the liver, alcohol, medication overuse, particularly acetaminophen, which is metabolized exclusively by the liver, chronic stress, which elevates cortisol and impairs liver function, and the endless stream of environmental toxins that modern American life deposits in our bodies every single day. Your liver handles all of it, silently, without asking for anything. The least we can do is give it 4 plants that help it do its job, 25 minutes every morning, 30 days. And I genuinely believe that for most people, the improvements in energy, clarity, digestion, and skin that this protocol produces will be noticeable enough that 30 days becomes a lifestyle, not a cleanse, a daily habit of caring for the organ that cares for everything else. And tomorrow, we are going to talk about something that 58 million Americans are living with right now, and the 3 plants that science has shown reduce the inflammation behind it more powerfully than most people realize. We post a brand new video every single day here at Green Calm Home, so please subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss one. Thank you so much for watching today. Take care of your liver. It is taking care of everything.